So one of the things we really would like to go ahead and talk about, what we conventionally call our campaign killers. These are things that we tend to see in a pay-per-click campaign, and really your team actually looks for, that we automatically know can just destroy a pay-per-click campaign. And by destroy, really what we're talking about is just waste a lot of money, right? And so we're here because we really would like to share with you what just some of these sometimes almost fundamental items are that will just completely cause you to burn cash, flush it down the toilet, pick your poison. But long story short, what are some of the items that we look for and that we would recommend for our clients to look for when it comes to these things that we talk about, campaign killers?
Yeah, so I would say when we encounter a client who comes to us, they've been running it themselves, they come to us and say, this isn't working for me, or maybe we are trying to recommend pay-per-click to someone and they say, it's never worked for me, it didn't work in the past, I'm not interested. Usually what was going on in that case is someone was either running it themselves or the person that was running it just didn't really know what they were doing. It sounds really harsh, but you can waste a lot of money, or maybe at best break even, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a lot of experience working with the ads platform as well as websites.
I actually remember that. We get that quite a bit, where people will contact us and they have a pay-per-click campaign and we ask them how it's going and they say, well, I think we're about breaking even. That actually happens quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, and when we diagnose that, you can usually tell if there's just like a couple of things that need to be tweaked, or the person who is running it or maintaining the website, which is another part of this, just they don't have the proper experience to really do it the right way to make the kind of money that a company is trying to make.
Okay.
These ads.
Elaborate on the website part real quick, just for a second. What are some campaign killers that you would actually particularly attribute to the website?
Yeah, so sometimes people don't think about this, but one of the regular things that our team is checking are the landing pages that people are going to when clicking on the ads, whether they be search, display, whatever. That's a huge part in it. And sometimes we'll catch an error on a website. Maybe a page is down or the website, something happened. If you're sending someone to a page that doesn't have a clear call to action, has no way for someone to contact you, maybe it looks terrible on mobile, or it doesn't load properly.
Okay.
Like, these are the things that your ads campaigns could be set up perfectly, but if you're sending them somewhere that the page doesn't work, or you haven't told them exactly what you want them to do, that can kill the whole thing. Really. So it's not even about the campaign, but it's actually where they end up landing. And if you haven't clearly defined at that point in time what you want that next step to be, that obviously a campaign killer being they're not contacting you or they're not converting, then they just, you lose them pretty much at the end of that sales cycle. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You have to make things very, very clear in the user experience. If they have searched for something, they want to see that whatever is in your ad text or in the ad that they see, that lines up with what they were looking for. And then when they land on your website, the page that they land on, or the landing page, is about that, and it gives them the exact information that they're looking for and a clear way to convert. Whether they're going to call you, fill out a contact form, whatever that looks like.
I know that there have been times when you guys have taken over a campaign and we have virtually doubled the leads that a client has gotten within a few months, and a lot of times a big component, if not all of it, actually was the landing page and the pieces that actually have to do with that.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so just kind of moving on from that, what are some of the other items that can just completely kill a campaign?
Yeah, so this there's a mentality with even some agencies that
we won't call them out.
Yeah,
we won't call them out.
It's fine. Where there's a set it and forget it mentality, where I set this up, it's running fine, I don't need to look at it at all, maybe once a month, or maybe you paid someone to set up an account for you.
Okay.
And some campaigns, and you're just letting it go and letting it run and hoping for the best.
Okay.
That is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make in ads.
Why? What happens?
Well, the way that you build a campaign in the beginning doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be successful. You need to analyze the data along the way and really see how people are interacting with your ads to see what's working and what's not. And you have to adjust things as you go. There's also, as Google runs on machine learning, and they have recommendations that they give to you of things to make your campaign better. If you leave that alone, some of those suggestions will be auto-applied in your account, which they're not always in your best interest. You have to know what to accept and what to dismiss in there. And if you're not monitoring that, sometimes the campaign can go downhill because things were applied to your account that you didn't do, but you gave Google the permission to do just by having that account and not turning that feature off.
So ironically speaking, but it almost sounds like as if you have somebody that knows what they're doing, they're almost like an advocate for your business in the sense that they will actually look at everything that is happening in the campaign, the nuances, the different attributes of the campaign, the recommendations that potentially come out of it. And then being that advocate, you can then actually say, no, that's actually a bad idea. We're not going to go ahead and do that. But if that doesn't exist, then it can kill the campaign because, like you said, some of these things just auto-apply.
Yeah, some of them,
Interesting.
Google doesn't know the details of your business. And also, again, I don't want to talk bad about any other agencies, but there are agencies where they will just kind of take the bare minimum information in the beginning and not get to know how your business is. So they will apply keywords and different features in your campaign that might not be the best for your company. So just having someone that is an advocate for you running this, that knows what they're doing, is so important.
So, and just to clarify, you're speaking about somebody's specific business, not just an industry. So if you have two paint companies, one may be looking for more commercial business, one may be looking for more residential business. They're both paint companies, but unless you really have a good understanding of what your goals are, then you're going to get the wrong kinds of leads. You can't do anything with it, and that's obviously, in our definition, a campaign killer.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So one of the other things that I've heard you guys talk about is this concept of bid strategy, and I have no idea what that even means. But why don't you enlighten us a little bit, and how can I guess the wrong bid strategy really kind of hurt your campaign and kill it?
Yeah. So as part of this AI, the machine learning that Google has, which is a great tool, they provide you different bidding strategies that are done by the machine learning, which are phenomenal. You still have the option to manually bid per keyword. But because of the advances in this technology, there's really no reason why you would ever, maybe in like a 2% case, where you would bid on each individual keyword manually. Because you give Google the tools to make these decisions on your behalf based on the information that you give them, the conversion data that's in there, you have different options. But if you choose the wrong bid strategy, not knowing what you're doing, that can really lead to wasted money. Maybe Google will say that, or not put you in front of certain people because you told them that you're only willing to spend $3 on a conversion. Well, if they don't think that's going to happen, they won't place you there at all. So there's different bidding strategies. They're amazing, but if you pick the wrong one, it can lead to potential disaster.
And so understanding what those different types of bid strategies are is obviously then very important. What kind of bid strategies are there? So you mentioned the bidding directly on a particular keyword, but what else is there?
So in most cases, you won't do that anymore.
Okay.
Which sounds like it takes a lot of the work out of the hands of managing a campaign, because you're not bidding on individual keywords, but there's just so much more that you need to pay attention to in general. One of my favorite bidding strategies is to maximize conversions.
Okay.
So because you set up conversion tracking, Google over time will learn what your conversions are, what keywords are converting based on the triggers that you have set up, what you've told them you're looking for, and then they'll use whatever your daily budget is to try and get the maximum conversions for your daily budget.
Okay.
And then that gets even more granular over time, where you can tell them where you have a target. You say, I would like to spend $36 on a conversion.
Okay.
And they will try to work towards that.
Okay. Over time.
Yeah.
Over time. Okay. Yeah, I remember with our app development company, when we were talking about this different bid strategy and the different types of keywords, and Google actually misunderstanding one, I guess, particular set of keywords that your team caught. But it was the difference between having an app developer and an app builder, meaning an app developer is somebody who actually develops your app for you, which is what we were looking for, right? We want people to find us if they're looking for app development. But I guess we were also ranking for the term app builder, which is more like a DIY tool. And so that doesn't do us any good. And so those types of nuances, I guess, you're going to need somebody's eyes to actually understand that, because the AI just isn't smart enough to really do that yet.
Yeah, and that also circles back to not setting it and forgetting it, because in the beginning you're going to want to put different types of keywords in there to see what's going to work, because you're not going to know going in blind. But you'll find over time on the data and your search terms reports that certain keywords are going to pull the wrong types of search.
Gotcha.
That goes
Interesting.
Right back to it. But if Google sees that that type of search is converting what you told them was a conversion, but you look at that and you say, okay, that's not the right conversion, you have to personally make that decision to pause that keyword. Google's not going to know that. They see someone search something, it went through, it converted, they're now going to say, okay, we like that, let's do more of that.
Gotcha. So again, somebody has to actually look at it. Otherwise, again, you're going to either, killing the campaign essentially is going to mean that you're going to just waste a bunch of money on the wrong keyword. Even if it's just slightly wrong, it just completely make all the difference in the world with the type of conversions. Okay. Yeah. All right. So campaign killers are really components that will destroy a campaign. And if I understand you correctly, there's kind of this specific set that you guys look for. But even if some of those components aren't really dialed in quite well, even if something is only working at 50% efficiency, then you're really going to go ahead and burn through a lot of cash if you're not really going to pay very close attention to that.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, very cool. Okay, well, I hope that helped. If you have any other questions for our team, or if you have anything in your pay-per-click campaign that you're curious about that may be killing it, feel free to go ahead and reach out, and we'll be more than happy to help.